Yo, good evening, everybody. This is a 30-minute session preview for the Sunday's NFL slate of games. This is because I feel like a podcast is Marcus, and I got my guy Artie here with me, man. We're gonna talk to y'all about what we're seeing for tomorrow's games, and just some things we're seeing overall. But what's been going on, Artie?
Man, nothing. That Thursday game was exciting towards the end. Didn't start out the best, but
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
we get better stuff tomorrow. You want to go? You want to go in order, or you want to go around? Start with Sunday night. What do you want to do? Start with the early
Um,
game.
we can we can go backwards. We can go back then front. So let's go to the Saturday Sunday night game. We'll start right there, man. The what is it?
The Packers and Cowboys.
Packers Cowboys. Um, this is this I call this the petty game, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start right off top of saying yes, I do think the Packers are going to win this game without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? The last time the Packers saw the Cowboys, the Cowboys had a full had a full team, and they got mollywhopped, 47-17 or something, like 47-32. That was in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, first round of playoffs. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I really don't think this is going to be a contest. You know, I just think that overall the 52, overall 53 for the Packers is just better than what the Cowboys have to present. You know, they're beat up. The defense, even with all their pieces, are horrible. You know what I'm saying? They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I'll shoot Diggs a little bit of bail because he's coming off of his ACL, not his ACL, but his Achilles surgery coming back. Bland has foot injuries, but overall, even with those guys there, you know what I'm saying, I just don't think that they are good at all. You know what I mean? And I just what the Packers have to present, they're going to they're going to kill the Cowboys. What do you think? What do you think, Artie?
For sure. I mean, it could even seem like a biased take from me, but seeing the Cowboys the first 3 weeks, I mean, I don't know if they can stop anybody from passing the ball. The Packers had Josh Jacobs on the injury report, but he looks like he's going to play too. So that's a big boost to help them out in the run game. If if the Packers don't score more than 40 points, I'd be surprised. I mean, it just seems like routine to do that against the Cowboys so far this season. Um, so I think it's going to be a blowout. If I were Dak, I would find a way to get out the game early because I think, like you said, it's going to be a petty game, and
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be that good on his side of the ball. So
right. And then
that's my take.
I don't
Nick,
see
coming
I
back.
don't I don't see what um what the Cowboys just don't have anything to throw to. I don't trust George Pickens at all, right? Jake Ferguson, their tight end, who they paid a good amount of money. He hasn't had a touchdown in 2 years, right? So what exactly is it that they have to present to beat this Packers defense, right? They don't have a running game. Javante Williams has done some things, but when you're supplementing that with trying to run Turpin out of the backfield, they tried to run CD out of the backfield yesterday, or not yesterday, but last week, and got him broke up. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad matchup for the Cowboys.
About 80% of the time, they're not using their running back too. So
Right, exactly. What you think, Marv?
Packers by 28.
mm,
But I will say this: if you have Dak playing, or you have like a George Pickens playing, if you have Dak or George Pickens or Jake Ferguson playing on your fantasy team, don't bench them because they're going to get a lot of garbage numbers tomorrow. So
Okay.
it's going to be ugly, but it'll look way better in the box score. The box scores aren't going to tell the story of what's going to happen to Dallas tomorrow. So like it'll probably be like 40. It'll probably be like 40-20 something.
Yeah, they'll get
40,
garbage.
40 they'll get a bunch of garbage points. So I'm not telling you to bench Dak. I'm not telling you to bench George Pickens. I'm not telling you to bench Ferguson. I'm telling you they'll probably have good numbers box score wise, but I think it's two games that aren't going to be games tomorrow, and this one is the obvious one, where I think the Packers. It also and I'm saying normally I would say this is a trap game, but Dallas just isn't good enough to get caught up in a trap game because they don't even think they're that good, and it's a trap game. It's a trap game for the Packers.
Right.
But I think that the Packers, after losing to Cleveland,
learned a lesson.
And you're not going to get us twice. You're not going to get us two games in a row. So normally, I would say this is that game like when you're looking at it and you're like it's really going to be garbage, because there's a few games every week that you after the first couple of weeks you're not excited about, and you're like this game, the way Dallas has performed, should be a really bad game, and normally it would be, but I think the Packers coming off of that Cleveland loss are going to be out and they're going to be focused. And I think this game gets ugly early, and the Packers let their foot off the gas, and Dak gets a bunch of garbage numbers. He gets the Russell Wilson 300 in the loss.
If the Cowboys could find a way to pick up Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons before the game, I think it could be a little competitive there. But
yeah, the pass rush they said they had. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's in. I don't know if it's in storage. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. Like they look bad in the front and the back, man. They look like they got a shag, and they look like they got a shag in the front and braids in the back. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad they are. You know what I'm saying? They are bad, but we're not gonna waste time on them no more. The next game, I see that could be a little trappy. Is what game is that?
we got the. Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say we had the battle of the 1 and 2s that really need a win this week in Kansas City and Baltimore.
Oh,
what do you think about that
one? You know what? I will say this. I trust Andy Reid right now more than I trust John Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks. Hey, Marv, it sucks to even say that because the Ravens have such a talented team, but it's not about your talented skills. It's about, at this point with them, it's about their mentality. And I just don't feel as though when they get up, it's not a thing of them letting off. It's just that they cannot just say, okay, if I got my foot on your neck,
they don't close.
I need you to break my neck. Okay. And that's a mentality that they just don't have. You know what I mean? And it's not like, okay, it's been one game or two games. They have over the last 3 years alone have lost so many leads from the middle of the third quarter to the end of the game where they just don't capitalize. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense, dude. It just really doesn't, And I'm at a point with them where I don't trust the head coach. And it sucks, like I say that, because he's a former special teams coordinator. So it should be easy for him to be able to preach to his team attention to detail. You know what I mean? And they just don't have it, man.
It doesn't feel like watching a college football team to you guys when you guys watching the Ravens, kind of. A little bit. Very, very, very good moments in some moments, and looks like they can steamroll anybody. And then, always there's like a time management issue, or there's one turnover and it just clicks. It's over.
Yeah.
So it's like this. I feel everything you said, except for I agree with everything you said right now, Marcus, except for I was going to say it about Andy Reid. Like you took my exact speech that I was going to give about Andy Reid, but you said it about Harbaugh. I feel like it's the same. They're in the same coat. They're in the same situation, right? They're from the same tree. They're from the Andy Reid tree. I feel like right now this is the worst coaching I've seen from Andy Reid in all of his coaching as a head coach.
Yeah.
Like even Pat Mahomes, you're missing Xavier Worthy, you're missing Rice right now. We years prior, we've seen Andy Reid win 13 games with James Thrash and Todd Pinkston.
Right.
I've seen Andy Reid. Excuse me. I've seen Andy Reid make Terrell Buckhalter look like a legit number one running back in the NFL at some point. I've seen him scheme open. I've seen him run schemes to make Brian Westbrook look like Marshall Faulk Jr. Like at one point, and there was one point in Brian Westbrook's career that I think he might have had 900 rushing, 900 receiving, and he was literally, arguably, the best offensive weapon in the whole NFC at some point. Like, and I think like we're looking at the Chiefs, and maybe they've been so good we hate them, but we don't want to give them credit. Maybe they've been so good over the last 5 years that you're like, oh no, Rice, they still got 15. 15 gonna make a way. Oh no, Xavier Worthy, 15 is gonna make it happen. What we're looking at is either Andy is still stuck and hasn't adjusted, or is the league catching up with Andy? And now normally where he's able to scheme, like we all know Kelsey's the guy. Like Kelsey makes the offense go, especially with no Worthy or no Rice. Like, but in years prior, before last year, it didn't matter who was on the outside. Like Kelsey still ate. So it's like if the league catching up to Andy, are the Chiefs just declining overnight? Are the Chiefs like that boxer where the boxer is 43-0 and hasn't been beaten and looks good, and then overnight he just loses it all and forgets how to box? Like, are we looking at the Chiefs in that light? Because I feel like Baltimore. I feel like I was having a conversation. Baltimore is not a 1-2 team to me. If you look at the 3 games that have been played this far this season, Baltimore is literally 6 minutes away from being 3-0. They played 6 minutes of god awful football, and that includes letting Buffalo come back. But Buffalo's Buffalo. Buffalo's a good team. Detroit's a good team. But if you take away like a long ass run from David Montgomery and like 2 dumbass plays in Buffalo, Baltimore's a legit 3-0. So I think, and it's the regular season. So there's no doubt in my mind Baltimore's going to win that game tomorrow because Lamar Jackson beats Pat Mahomes in the regular season when it doesn't matter. Now, if this game was January 15th to see who goes to the AFC Championship, I would bet everything on Kansas City. But I think Baltimore's going to win tomorrow because it's the regular season, and we know Lamar and the Ravens have success against Pat Mahomes in the regular season, and they're a better team. Like, if you go man for man down that roster, Baltimore's clearly the better team.
Are they the better team mentally?
I think both teams are beat up pretty bad mentally right now, though.
But if I have to trust someone to do something normal, I can trust Andy to do something normal because over the last 3 years, I can't trust the Ravens to do something normal to close out the game, like not turn the ball over.
Okay, but let me ask you this: both teams are desperate.
Right.
Who do you think is more difficult to prepare for? A desperate Ravens or a desperate Chiefs?
Desperate Chiefs.
I think it's more difficult.
I'm like right in the middle here because I feel like these 2 teams right now are like polar opposites. I think one is really negatively benefiting from turning the ball over and having bad moments, and I think the other one is negatively benefiting from not being able to turn the other team over and pick up a momentum moment. And I think the Chiefs kind of look, honestly, and the play calling kind of looks just lazy. Like, oh, we don't have people. Yeah, it is what it is. We're probably going to lose this game. And on the Ravens side, it's like, I think we talked about it last week. It's like, well, we're going to win every game. And as soon as they get punched in the mouth, they get counter-punched, they don't know what to do anymore. So
they don't know what to do.
It's polar opposites.
I saw a depleted Kansas City Chiefs team with Kadarius Toney, right? Sky Moore. They brought back McCole Hardman, go into Baltimore with just them three, Juju Smith-Schuster, or whatever you call him, Dancing Boy, and Isaiah Pacheco, and what's his name, Travis Kelce, and beat them with a lesser team.
Yeah,
That's why I say that I trust the Chiefs' mentality mentally more than I trust the Ravens.
I like the Ravens tomorrow. It's regular season. If this was the playoffs, I'll be with you. I like the Ravens tomorrow.
Yeah,
I got the Ravens in a close game too, but I can see both sides of that. But I also think that whoever wins, it's like a get over the hump moment for both teams.
Yeah.
Somebody has to get over the hump, because whoever doesn't get over the hump may not get back over it. That hill.
Listen, Hardball lose tomorrow. This is last year in Baltimore.
Yeah, I can see that. Man. And then who else? What else? What other team? Okay, yeah. So we got the get up. Either you roll over and go to sleep game, or you wake up and eat breakfast game. That's the Vikings and the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Carson Wentz and Aaron Rodgers game. I'm gonna shoot Carson a little bit of Bell. He's up there with Kevin. Kevin O'Connell. Being a good quarterback coach. He had Carson looking okay. I think they have there's a good chance they may win that game. I don't know what the Steelers are doing on offense. They do just enough to win, and their defense does just enough to help them succeed. But at the same time, they don't really have a running game in Pittsburgh, and they don't utilize DK enough from what I see. So I'm gonna take the Vikings in that game. What do y'all think?
I'm taking the Vikings too. Just kind of like what Marv said about the Ravens, kind of the reverse of the Steelers. The Steelers are about 6 minutes away from being 0-3. They really benefit from some luck, really. A goal line fumble last week by Ramondre Stevenson. Last year, the Jets went out of the country to play the Vikings, and Aaron was pretty terrible. So I think the Vikings have had his number, and even when he was with the Packers a few years ago, they've had his number for a little while. I just don't see the Steelers have no run game. Their defense really hasn't been that great either. Very bend but don't break. I got the Vikings by 10 tomorrow.
Here's what's going to determine, and when we talk next week, it's all about if the Steelers can pick up the blitz, right? The Vikings are going to blitz. Every time Rodgers plays the Vikings, they blitz. They blitz them because for whatever reason, Aaron Rodgers struggles against the blitz when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings. If Pittsburgh's offensive line could pick up the blitz, it's going to be a huge win by Pittsburgh. If they can't pick up the blitz, the Vikings are going to win it pretty easy. So honestly, it all depends on up front, the play calling up front, the play calling and what they're going to do up front to beat the blitz. Because we know Minnesota's going to be aggressive. We know he's going to send them. We know, if we know he's sending 5-6 guys at Rodgers, and it's going to be up to Rodgers in that line to slide. It's going to be up to Rodgers to slide the protections, make the hot reads, and we're going to see. If he can do that, it's going to be an easy win for Pittsburgh. If Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh struggles picking up the blitz, because I think right now Rodgers is completing like something weird, like 48% of passes versus pressure. So
not looking good.
That's not good at all. So if Minnesota's dialing up the pressure early and they can't pick it up, it's going to be a long day for Pittsburgh Steelers fans and Aaron Rodgers. I think what the line is Pittsburgh. Is it Minnesota or Pittsburgh minus 1.5? I think I'm going to take the Steelers minus the 1.5 because I am going to say they pick up the blitz and they sneak out of Dublin with a win tomorrow.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if they can do that, but Justin Jefferson and Jalen Ramsey.
Hey, hey, you know what's crazy is Justin Jefferson. Like I was arguing with somebody earlier today, and saying that I would take Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase. And then we got into it, and we started listing the best receiver, the top five, and I had Jefferson, Chase, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, and St. Brown. I think this, and it's going to suck for JJ McCarthy, but if McConnell is able to string 2 or 3 really, really good games together out of Wentz,
Yeah.
we might have seen the last of JJ McCarthy in the Vikings uniform 2 weeks ago. And I think, like, the one thing about Wentz is when he's confident and he's letting that thing go, his back foot's touching the ground and he's letting that thing fly, he's gonna make sure. I think last week they were training wheels on him, and they just wanted to see. I think Justin Jefferson is going to have a big game this week because Wentz is going to make sure he has it. Once Wentz gets comfortable in rhythm, Wentz can still sling that thing, and when Wentz got a cannon, so I expect to see some double moves and a few deep balls to Jefferson this week. So I think Jefferson has a really good game this week because Wentz, once he realizes, like, Wentz gets confidence. Like right now, he's playing for nothing. He's not playing for a job. He's not playing for anything, and that's the most dangerous. That's why if you have a backup with halfway decent talent and they're just going in there, they're like, look at Nick Foles. Like, Nick Foles was Wentz backup. Wentz got hurt for the rest of the year. Hey, fam, I know you're not going to put the third guy in, so let me go in here and throw this thing all over the field. And that's when Wentz is at his most dangerous, when he's not looking over his shoulder. And he played really good. He managed the game. He didn't make mistakes. He got 14 points from his defense last week. I don't think he's going to get that this week, but I think he'll be playing with confidence and he'll take a couple shots. And I think he'll get Justin Jefferson involved early, and it should be fun. It should be fun. I want Wentz to succeed because I want to see Wentz versus Hurts in a few weeks.
Yeah. So then we transition to the Marcus Mariota Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We got the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. You know, they beat up too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta.
It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good in Washington. You know, I'm sitting out here. I'm out here at the DMV. You know what I mean? About an hour from Baltimore, or not Baltimore, but Washington. Look, man, like Jaden hurt. You know, Scary Terry, man, he got the quad issue. You know, they talk to us about Little Bill, but Little Bill can't save him on offense, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you got it, and then the defense is 47 years old. You know what I mean? They like 2-3 years older than us, man. You know, you know what I mean? They look bad. They looking bad in DC right now. You know. And then on the flip side, you know, Michael Penix, they tried, like I said, you know, we said it Thursday, they tried to blame Ike Hilliard for their shortcomings. Nah, bro, the quarterback ain't it right now. You know what I mean? So that's probably the title of the game. It ain't it game. That's what it is. Both of these teams ain't it right now. You know what I mean?
If Atlanta lose this game, they frauds, and I don't want to hear nothing about the Falcons for the rest of the year. I'm telling you this right now.
Yeah.
If you let Marcus Mariota go down there and beat you without Scary Terry, I can't. Like, y'all got embarrassed by the Panthers. Like, you can't come off of getting donutted by the Panthers and then lose to a Washington team without their best two players on offense
Yeah.
and a backup running back.
Atlanta has too much talent on their offense to
Offense,
not score a point.
And the defense ain't bad. They just the offense is bad. You know what I mean? You would think Arthur Smith was still down there the way they stick because they still don't use Kyle Pitts the right way. There's no way Kyle Pitts should be not have no. He should have at least 6 to 7 catches per game, easily. It's just how they use them. They don't. You can literally let him go out wide every play if you wanted to, but
who guard him?
Nobody's going to guard him. I wouldn't even bother playing him at tight end. I would just let him go outside. You know what I'm saying? For what? It's just bad. I don't know. I really don't like how Raheem threw Ike under the bus. I don't like it because you made it seem like the receivers coach was the reason you scored no points. You couldn't even run the ball. So was that the receivers' fault? Receivers coach fault? No, bro. You need to get your team together. You, Raheem, need to get your team together. Don't be blaming Ike for that. Your quarterback looked bad. Is because it seemed like he's in a mental struggle because if he says anything negative about Penix, then the first question that's going to come up is where's Kirk Cousins? You know what I'm saying? And you got an expensive number 2. To say the least, you know what I'm saying? A real expensive number 2. So I'm just like, wow, man. You got some issues there. What you think, Artie?
I'd agree. I think this is going to be an unnecessarily close game. I think Atlanta should put it away, as you guys said, without the 2 best offensive players for Washington, and probably no run game that they really trust. I'll go with Atlanta, and if they can't put it together this week, depending on how that goes, if it's again quarterback no show, or if the offense does play well and they just can't stop Washington, no matter how they're going to lose this game, if they do, it's going to be it's going to be very bad for what they're trying to do. So I've got Atlanta, but it wouldn't surprise me if they lost. I mean, not after what happened last week for sure. How we feel about Jared Goff?
Yeah, we'll transition to the Browns and the Lions game there. And what's going on, C. Carter Show? What's going on, brother? Jared Goff. Look, man, I'm gonna shoot Jared a lot of bail. Even saying this as an Eagles fan because I don't like how Sean McVay did him on the way out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I don't like how he did him on the way out of LA. You know what I mean? He made it feel like he was the reason they just didn't do anything. And that wasn't the case. Jared Goff, he has resurrected his career in Detroit. I like what he does. I just think sometimes when the game gets really hot, you know what I'm saying? Like he just has weird games at the most inopportune times, right? The prime example was the game against in the playoffs against the Commanders, right? There was no reason for him to throw would be as inaccurate as he was in that game early. No reason. Even with the guys on defense being hurt, he still should have been able to kill that defense. That is the same defense that the Eagles, the very next week went and destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Killed them. And on offense, they have the same amount of weapons that the Eagles had. It's just that he just had a really bad game, and he has those bad games in the worst spots. That's what I think. What do y'all think about Jared?
The year before that, he blew a 17-point lead at halftime to the 49ers, albeit they're a great team, but for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, you blow a 17-point lead. The next year, you get blown out by a rookie quarterback in his first postseason, and you can't even can't even keep up. I'm not going to say anything good about the Detroit Lions right now. But
hey, see Carter, you know what? Already a Packers fan, so you know he ain't gonna shoot you a lot of bail on that. You know what I mean?
no, but I mean he's solid and he does what he needs to do for the most part, and most of the time. And they use the weapons well there in Detroit. And if you like him, I don't blame you, but I don't like to like him. So
Carter said no pack, no. Yeah.
Listen, I watched a guy blow a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship. They was at home, right? Or was they at home that year?
No, they was in San Francisco. They was in San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They was at home last year when the Commanders walked in and smacked them on a Saturday night. But before that, let's not act like this man didn't throw 5 interceptions in a win. The only reason we didn't talk about his 5 interceptions is because the team was so talented that in spite of Jared Goff's horrible play at quarterback,
they came back and won.
They were able to win. Jared Goff got to catch these strays because they list Jared Goff over my QB all the time, right? They list Jared Goff over my QB all the time. And I sit back and I think that day they played the Texans last year. That man threw 5 interceptions versus the Texans. If Jalen Hurts got 5 turnovers in the last 17 games he's played. If Jalen Hurts would have threw 5 interceptions in a game, everybody on every sports network would have laid in. The minute he threw that 5th interception, ABC 6 would have cut the commercial. Jalen Hurts has just threw his 5th interception in a game against the Texans. But Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and the next day, 2 days later, everybody forgot about it. Like, is Jared Goff talented? Yes. Is he a product of Ben Johnson? Yes. This season, Jared Goff has to prove to me that he's not a system quarterback. Like, even without Ben Johnson there calling the plays, he's still talented. I think Jared Goff is top 15 in the league. But I've seen people have Jared Goff as high as 5 or 6, which I cannot see, especially when you're putting Jared Goff over a guy who's a Super Bowl MVP, a guy who was second-team All-Pro 2 years ago, a guy who, even with the 30th ranked defense, was still able to get 11, 12 wins and make the playoffs. So that's my issue with Goff. I think Goff is one of those guys who's slightly overrated.
Time out. Time out. P. Carter, hey. All right, so
the matter of fact, Goff is ass. No, now I'm really going to say what I want to say about it.
Whoa.
Goff is ass. He's the 4th best. He's the 4th best. He's the 3rd best quarterback in his division because Caleb Williams is going to have a better year than him.
Already, I wasn't trying to. I was.
The Lions as a whole, the Lions are the shittiest franchise in football after the Browns. Like the Detroit Lions are ass. They're ass as a whole. They're ass. Everybody who's ever been good in Detroit leaves early because they don't want to play for Detroit. Shout out to Calvin Johnson for leaving that shithole program. Shout out to Barry Sanders for leaving that shitty program. Wayne Fontes is a dick. The Ford family is trash. Whoever the coach is now is a cokehead. Whoever the coach is out there, he's coaching. He's a fucking cokehead. He's a cokehead. Detroit versus the world. Detroit Lions are shitty. Detroit Lions are shitty.
Time out. God.
Well,
fucking Jim Swartz. Them niggas was 0-16 10 years ago. 0-16.
Time out.
See, Carter, this is exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's what Artie really wanted to say, but we just trying to not say it. But to really address hold on. But to really address what's on the screen, he is a better quarterback than Hurts. Let me take the lead on that. No, right? No. The reason why I say that is because, and we're in all seriousness, and I'm not talking about Jared Goff right now. I'm talking about, let's say, Jared Goff 2018, what was it, 2019, when the Rams went to the Super Bowl, right? They went to the Super Bowl against Tom and the Patriots. No. The reason I say no is because that team was just as talented, or even equally talented, as this current Philadelphia Eagles team. They had a Todd Gurley that was healthy at the time when Todd Gurley was at his peak. They had Cooper Kupp at his peak, right? They had a couple other receivers that were just as good at their peak, and they had a defense that was just as good at their peak, right? You put that with what Jalen Hurts currently had. Jared Goff can only get, well, he scored 7 points. Three. He scored 3 points with that team.
And honestly, if Jared Goff had played a little bit better in his career and in those moments,
he wouldn't have got traded.
We might be sitting here saying Jared Goff has 3 rings right now.
Right.
Even with getting traded. Like he could have. They don't blow that lead against San Fran. They're in the Super Bowl. They should have scored double digit. I mean, it was 9-3, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 12-3, yeah.
I think Woods, was it Woods or Cooks? Who did they have? No, it was Woods, I think, that had dropped the touchdown. But besides that, I mean, Jared Goff wasn't that great in that game, obviously, in the Super Bowl. But that should be 1 ring. Even if he does get traded, Detroit should have been in the Super Bowl and have a chance at another ring. I just think, well, I'll say this. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think I will disagree with that one. But that's not to say, Marv is going to have his turn here again. That's not to say that Jared Goff is a bad quarterback. He does what he needs to do. And it's similar. I know that you brought up here that Jalen Hurts don't have 5 TDs all year, but it doesn't matter. People are in different situations and do different things. We could also say Jared Goff doesn't have 4 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
We can also say Jared Goff has turned the ball over this year. But there's a lot of things that Jared does what he needs to do in his system, and then Jalen does what he needs to do in his system. Right. And it's different things that they need to do. If you look at overall, maybe who's capable of more, honestly, even if you do give these other guys like Jared Goff the advantage on the throwing end, it's about that much of an advantage, really. And then when you get into the rushing effect of a quarterback, it's gone. You're gone. I mean,
Jalen Carter don't have a loss all year, neither. Jalen Hurts ain't lost in 20 games and 19 games, neither. The Lions are the most loaded team offensively in the NFL. The Eagles have Saquon Barkley, who might be the best running back in the NFC, but you have Sonic and Knuckles, which is ridiculous as far as the combination goes. And Jamar Gibbs has proven that he can run in between the tackles. Jamar Gibbs might be the 3rd best running back in the NFL, and then Montgomery is the top 10, 12 running back in the NFL. You clearly have the best running back room in the NFL if you're the Detroit Lions. You're solid at tight end. Your tight end room, your running back room as a whole is better than the Eagles. Your tight end.
Hold on. He said Jalen. Hold on. Jalen Hurts lost against the Rams. Let's get that out the way right now. Jalen Hurts. Hold on. Jalen Hurts did not lose against the Rams. What Jalen Hurts did, you need to understand. There's context. When you make comments like that, you have to have context. right? Understand who was calling the plays in the first half, right? When the plays were not called correctly, the offense looked bad. However, I think if most knowledgeable Cow or Eagles fans know, you could reasonably assume that Jalen Hurts called the plays in the second half. When he did, what happened? How do you
They
lose it?
scored.
And how do you lose it? Like, yes, you can say the defense helped them, but yes, in order for you to come back, a quarterback has to be a part of bringing you back, right? Right or wrong?
I got right. So listen, my question to you is: if the defense won the game, the score was 19-7 at halftime. If the defense stopped them from scoring the remainder of the game and the offense did nothing, the score would have still been 19-7.
Thank you. Pretty much, it's basic. It's just basic logic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would say
understand. Go ahead, Artie.
that he got into they have one of the best O lines and the best running back in football. I'm not going to disagree with having the best running back in football, and I will even say this, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. I personally believe that Dan Campbell is not a good football coach, and he has cost them games. He helped cost them the NFC Championship game. Honestly,
He's a cokehead. He's a cokehead, and he's a cokehead. And the Lions have the second best offensive line and the best running back room in football. What's the Detroit Lions' excuse? The Lions have the second best offensive line and the best running back room in football. They have a top 5 number 1 receiver, and they have a great number 2 deep threat in Crowder. The Lions are just as complete as the Eagles. The difference between the Eagles and the Lions is the play of the quarterback. You have a quarterback who knows how to win, who's the most clutch player in the NFL right now, and then you have a quarterback who was sent to Detroit in a trade. Sean McVay basically sent Jared Goff and draft picks to get a 92-year-old Matt Stafford because he felt like a 92-year-old Matt Stafford was better than a young Jared Goff.
And then the other part about there's a difference between the Eagles and the Lions. Winning mentality, right? They are the Lions tough? Yes, they are a tough team. They went. I saw them go. They just went into Baltimore last week
and punched him in the face,
getting kicked in the face. But they came and turned around and did a roundhouse kick and started kicking
right back
in the face. So
everybody heard the same. I'm
gonna give C. Carter. I'm gonna give C. Carter a little bit of bail. They are. That was a tough win to go into Baltimore and win that game. But again, when it's a win and go home situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, Hurts is better in that right? Because understand, like, yes, the Lions were dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. No one's discrediting that. We got that. However, that Commanders defense was horrible. And
trash.
Really, yeah. And Jared Goff, just for whatever reason, he played mid in that game.
He played Jared Goff. He golfed it because he is mid. He didn't play mid. He played to who he really is. Like
the same Commanders defense that Jalen Hurts went out and put a double nickel on a week later.
Jared Goff is if the Detroit Lions was the 1995 Orlando Magic, Jahmyr Gibbs is Shaq, St. Brown is Penny, David Montgomery is Nick Anderson, Luke Pettigrew is Dennis Scott, Jamison Crowder is Penny, Jared Goff is Scott Skiles.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get off that game, man. We're gonna get off that game.
If you want to come to the next show.
Shout out to C. Carter though. Thank you for tuning in. But the Lions' ass is the franchise.
All right, so we got another good game that's coming up too, man. Hey, the Colts and the Rams.
My boy Josh Allen Jr. out there in Indiana balling. My boy. Shout out to
a good game, man. And I start off. Rams fans have been really. They've been whining. They are still crying about a loss at like. Ain't they on Pacific time?
Bro,
this lady
6:15 Pacific time on Saturday.
Yeah, it's 6:59 Pacific Standard Time. Stop work. You lost like 6 days ago. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you lost. But lady, don't come over here talking about you still whining about your loss, lady. We understand. Yes, okay. Eagles fans don't have issues with Rams fans, right?
I don't.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? But it's just weird. Like, they were still whining. I'm like, let it go. You got a game tomorrow. And you might not win that game.
You might not. You might not win.
Because I don't even know there was Rams fans.
Man.
Hey, look, man, they are, dude. There are. They're on Twitter more, man. You got to be on the pod.
Camp Bynum was saying that they don't even have real fans, so they have fake crowd noise.
Bro, like they are heavy, man, trying to troll. I'm like, y'all, like, what are you trying to troll for?
Rams fans are hurt.
The Eagles beat y'all in the snow, and they beat you. They beat you when it was hot outside. Like, what
2 times when it was beat you in the dome, beat you in the snow, and beat you when it was hot outside.
We love y'all, but like, let's be real. Like, just hold your L. Let's type in and more winning. You know what I'm saying? Let's type in more winning. But back to the Colts and Rams game. I think this is going to be a good litmus test for the Colts to see where Daniel Jones is really at. The Rams do have a decent defense where they don't give up 26 points in a row. But I think that we'll see where, like I said, we'll see where Daniel Jones is at. We'll see where Jonathan Taylor is at. Tyler Warren is out there. Tyler Warren is out there in Indianapolis too, and he's been doing well so far. I like how Steichen has, kind of righted Daniel Jones, because we now see that the Giants front office and the head coach are garbage, but that's a whole other conversation. I think the Rams will win this game, but it would not shock me at all if Daniel Jones and JT, the Salem boy from Salem, New Jersey, and Tyler Warren and the defense pull this out. What do you think, Artie?
I got the Rams too. I think the only game that the Colts have been in this year that was really testing was against the Broncos, and I think offensively the Rams just have way more ways to attack them, attack their defense, and it was kind of what we talked about earlier. That was an embarrassing loss last week for the Rams, even though it was against one of the best teams, if not the best team in football. It was an embarrassing loss to blow a lead like that. I think they come out like the Packers, although obviously they lost a different level of competition, with more focus and a motivation to get started early and stay throughout the game. And I think we'll see that too. I think the Rams get off to a good start. If they can't sustain it, just like they did last week, then, well, we got some issues there. But I've got the Rams winning this game by a touchdown.
Yep. What you got, Mar?
I think he's got.
Give me the Colts. I'm gonna tell you what. I don't like the Rams. The Rams are so soft for all that talent they have up front. Verse and Young and Fitz, they're soft and they're playing wide nine. So all it's going to take is for Daniel Jones. Here's the key: Daniel Jones completed a deep pass to Pittman, and fourth they was playing like when I was watching the game last week, the Rams were playing an inverted cover 2. And they were dropping their safety down, sending the linebacker up the middle. And that safety on the side where they were dropping, and the cornerback on the safety was actually playing the deep third. And the Eagles picked up on it in the second half. Because if you go back and watch that Devontae Smith, if you go back and watch the Dollar Goddard pass that first touchdown in the second half, Devontae Smith was wide open. Dallas Goddard was just the easier throw. And there were several other plays when I went back and watched, like you just needed to read the linebacker in whichever way he opened his hips. And the Rams got comfortable and they loaded the box. I think the Colts, from what I've seen, and Denver was supposed to be their litmus test. And once they beat Denver, everybody was like, Denver's not for real because they lost to the Colts. But that's a really good Denver defense. I think that if they're able to keep Daniel Jones upright, Jonathan Taylor is going to have a huge day tomorrow. Because that Rams defense, they sold out to stop the run last week. Like, they completely sold out to stop the run because the run has been what's killed them the last two times they played the Eagles. And they sold out, and the Eagles didn't adjust until Jalen Hurts made the adjustment in the second half. I think they're not going to play Jonathan Taylor as tough as they played Saquon Barkley last week, and that's going to create opportunities for Taylor. So if he runs for $175 and 2 touchdowns tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. And if Daniel Jones has a stat line that's not going to look appealing, again, when you look at the box stats, if Daniel Jones is 17 for 22 for 190 yards and no touchdowns, and then they'll probably have 50-something yards because Daniel Jones can still move the chains with his feet. And the Rams have difficulty with quarterbacks who are mobile. So I think the combination of Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones are just enough to beat the Colts. I mean, just enough to beat the Rams at home. And they pull out a win. And then the Colts are 4-0, and now we're going to have to talk about, are the Colts for real? Because if the Colts are 4-0 in that division, depends on what happens. They're going to have a 2, depending on whatever else happens. They're going to have a 2-game lead on Jacksonville possibly, and possibly a 4-game lead on the Texans, who everybody had winning that division coming into the year.
They got issues.
So I like the Colts. I like the Colts a lot tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So then that obviously brings us to the game at the marquee 1:00 game, the Bucks and the Eagles. I'm already going for the Eagles. That's not even a thought. Not worried. I'm not scared of the Bucks. I'm not scared of anything they present. You know what I mean? Solid team. They got a little bit of issues with injuries. So do the Eagles, but I just don't feel as though anything about the Bucks scares me at all. On either side of the ball, Baker. Like I said, Baker has pushed me to say he's solid. I don't particularly care about all the other media bullshit that's out there. How they try to make it seem like he's just this great quarterback. I'm not with that. That's never been it. I just think that he's solid, and I'm glad that he's gotten the chance to get his career back on solid ground because he was done wrong in Cleveland, right? And then he had to move around a couple times. So I'm glad he's gotten that back. But by no means whatsoever do I think that he is this profound quarterback that they think they're saying he is, and how the media tries to go around and push things into certain situations to try to get drama out or get the clicks. To me, the Eagles are the better team. The Eagles have the better quarterback. I think they win. It's not going to be a blowout, but I do think it'll be something like 27-21. I think the Eagles offense gets back on track even more after the second half from last week, and I think this game is going to be more of a Devontae and Goddard game, and also what's Shipley's back too, so I don't know how they're going to use him, but I just believe that the Eagles are the better team. What do y'all think?
You want to go first, Artie?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll just say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down Mike Evans. Chris Godwin is back tomorrow. Ibuka is hobbled. I don't think that they can do anything in the passing game to hurt you guys. And hurt the Eagles. You brought it up last week, Marv, or the last show. The outside run and I know Tampa really loves to do that with Bucky Irving. I'm not a huge fan of Bucky Irving, but I think that could be something that could present a challenge. But I also think, again, you keep Quinyon Mitchell with probably Ibuka, and I really think that the Buccaneers should find it hard to have any sustained offense tomorrow. And again, the Eagles are probably not. I mean, they do open slow, but I think tomorrow is going to be a little bit different for them. I'll give them another 4 points more. So I have it 31-21.
Okay,
Eagles.
got it. What you got, Marv?
Baker Mayfield is not better than Jalen Hurts, but he is better than Jared Goff. I think if you switch Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, the Lions probably have a Super Bowl. The Lions 2 years. If you switch Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield doesn't blow a 17-point lead to the 49ers. I think that the last 2 times the Eagles played the Buccaneers, number 11 wasn't wearing the last 4 times the Eagles played the Buccaneers, number 11 wasn't wearing midnight green.
AJ, Devontae was hurt too.
Then the last time Lane, AJ, Devontae, and I think my lot of Coop wasn't playing. The Bucks were the last team. The Bucks were the last team to beat the Eagles when Jalen Hurts started and finished the game, right? But there was no AJ Brown, there was no Smith, there was no Lane Johnson, there was no Coop. Like the Eagles were a completely different team, and Vic was just figuring out what he had. I think like there's no Mike Evans, and like you said, Godwin's coming back. He's probably going to be on a pitch count, so I would let 27 shadow Ibuka, and you got to stop the outside run with no Nolan Smith. You know what? No Nolan Smith this week, and Dan Sileo tried to shit on Nolan Smith so bad by saying he's not that great and he's not part of the future. Bro, I hate that guy. Like, I hate that guy so much.
I personally hate it. I think, there's a couple folks like him that we don't mess with.
Yes, and it's like he went from he hated on Jalen Hurts for 4.5, 5 years. Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl MVP. He's off to Jalen Hurts, and now Nolan Smith has been the target of his stupid ass for the last few days. Like, without Nolan Smith, you got Darius. But I think Vic listens to me sometimes because I be saying stuff in my head and I be saying it out loud when I'm at the house, and then he comes out and does it. I think we'll see a lot of Jalen Carter at defensive end this week to counter the outside run that Tampa has been so successful. So I think we're going to get Mojo's going to have to play a little more, and I think we might get a little Vanilla Gorilla sighting this weekend because I think Jalen Carter is going to play a lot more on the outside at defensive end. I think we're going to get a Jalen and Zadarius, or he might go 5-2. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Vic comes out and plays 5-2 in the early downs just to stop the run and put Tampa in passing situations. But I don't see the Eagles winning this game by less than 13 points, honestly. Like, I think I want it to be to the point where I turn my TV at halftime and watch something else, or I'm more worried about another 1 o'clock game because for all like Tampa's literally, like we talk about teams, Tampa's literally six plays from being 0-3.
Yeah,
Tampa's 6 plays from being 0-3.
I'm looking at the rest of the games on this schedule. It's just a lot of.
Houston probably bounces back tomorrow against Tennessee.
Yeah. If Houston don't win against Tennessee, Ryan's is out. Ryan's going to be a defensive coordinator somewhere next year.
The rest of the schedule is kind of just musty games, man. You know, your armpit stink games. Like, go find something else to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I'll keep a side eye on Cleveland to beat Detroit tomorrow.
They can.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, like you got Who do we got playing the Lions? Not the
Browns,
Lions.
Cleveland.
No, hold on. What else gonna say? Not the Rams, Chiefs, not the what? Bills and the Saints. That's nasty. That's
Yeah,
nasty.
that's nasty work.
You know what I mean? So a couple things I am looking at just on in personnel. I want to see what they do to fix CJ Stroud down in Houston, because this is whatever something is going on down there that we don't know, because it just don't look right. You know what I mean? Like they fired Bobby Slowick in the middle of the at the end of the season last week, or no, they fired her during the year, I think.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just don't. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. When he was there with him, I think we talked about that Thursday, and then this situation with Jackson Dart and the Giants. Russ is horrible, but I don't. If the rest of the offense is horrible, other than Neighbors, why would you throw Dart out there to get killed by the Chargers?
Well, this is the same team that put out DeVito.
Right, yeah. They're just nasty, man. Like, I don't like anything that comes out of anytime I hear anything about the Giants, I start scratching my neck like a junkie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it ain't a quarterback in the league that's going to succeed with them right now.
Hold on, man. Like, let me look at something real quick.
Who you guys got in that very important game, Miami versus
bro, I'm watching
the New York Jets versus the Dolphins.
You know what?
Justin Fields just got cleared about an hour or two ago.
Justin Fields and Tua, you taking them over Jared Goff, Mark?
Hold on. If Justin Fields and Tua were one person, I would put them over Jared Goff. But right now, my list would be like 92 other quarterbacks, Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Tua. Neil O'Donnell is Jared Goff is like this much above Neil O'Donnell.
I got a stat. I got a stat for y'all. I just looked it up right on StatMuse. The Giants against the Eagles since I didn't go back another 10 years before that. Since 2013, the Giants are 5-19. 5-19 against the Eagles. You know what I mean? And not only are you 5-19 against the Eagles, you traded your best player in the last 10 to 15 years, other than Dexter Lawrence, to them.
Yeah, they let Saquon go on free agency. They traded Brian. Then they got the ball from Carolina. They traded for Brian Burns from Carolina. They got Burns from Carolina. They making moves.
That is your. I can't even see if it was somebody like you was, this is the divisional rival. You're 5-19 in the last 12 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then you still got 2 more games. So it's a possibility by the time we get to Christmas, you'll be 5-21 against the Eagles.
5-21 in the last 12 years.
I think that's a certainty, not a possibility.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then like I said, I feel for Jackson Dart being up there. I feel for Neighbors. Neighbors look like he's still. You know how on the wire. You know how on the wire, Wallace left and went down south, but then he came back. That's how Neighbors feel right.
Listen, in 3 years and 4 years, we're gonna be having this conversation when Neighbors end up in DC playing with his boy Daniels.
Yeah, bro.
They gonna lose.
No way, bro. I don't see no way Malik finishes his first. I don't see any way he finishes his rookie deal as a.
Nope.
I don't see it. I don't see. He don't. When they talk to him, when they talk to him on the interviews, man, my man act like he don't even want to be there. He like they asked him how he felt about the quarterback. Malik was like, somebody got to throw me the ball. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I was like, dang, son. I was like, that's not an endorsement. That's not really an endorsement for Dart. That ain't an endorsement on Russ. It's just like not even. I'm like, bro, just clean house up there, man. You know
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, but
I mean,
everybody that's out there watching us, we appreciate y'all, man. Hey, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. I put our link in there for that as well. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, because I feel like a podcast. We're there. Instagram, the same thing. It's all the same thing, and then on Facebook as well. We're gonna do more of these. My guy Nelson and AO, they work. You know what I mean? They pretty much they grinding, but we will all of us will be here at some point in time, man. And yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I gotta get y'all. I know we running over the hour that we usually go, but we speaking of Tua, like that man talking like Cam Newton, and you know when Cam talk about my quarterback, I get on Cam ass. Pause.
Fuck Cam.
But no,
I'm tired of Cam too. Yeah. Now you done woke me up again, man.
Yeah, right. And that's how I've been carrying it the last little while. But Tua was talking like that man didn't play quarterback in the NFL for 12 years.
Yeah.
Like Tua.
That's the point though. That is the right conversation in my opinion. That is the right conversation for Cam to have about Tua, right?
Yeah.
That's in his wheelhouse.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I'm on that fuck Cam bandwagon too. But this particular occurrence, Cam is absolutely 100%.
He's correct.
Right.
But that's in his wheelhouse though. That's fine.
I agree. Tua, you gotta chill, man.
Yeah, but what I don't like about Cam is when he goes outside of that wheelhouse and tries to think that nobody ain't smart enough to understand what he's really trying to say about Jalen Hurts. And the reason I say that, it's not just about football anymore to me. He tries to frame it as that, but I've watched a lot of Cam's podcasts.
Me too.
And I even the one where he had him with the real old head, Jason. Hold on. Let me get it real quick. I'm gonna make sure I tell y'all the right thing. I don't want to fuck this up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep going while I'm looking it up.
No, the thing with the Cam Jalen Hurts thing is it comes across as jealousy. Like it comes across where he's like this. Oh, if I would have had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, I could have won a Super Bowl II type shit. And like Cam, you had more All-Pro and Pro Bowlers on that 15-1 team than the Eagles did last year on their Super Bowl team. If we're being technical, like Greg Olsen, AJ Brown, you might not have had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, but Greg Olsen was an All-Pro and Pro Bowl tight end. Your offensive line was really, really good. Jonathan Stewart had an amazing year, and your defense was stacked. Your defense had really, really good players and maybe one of the greatest off-ball linebackers to ever play football. Like Luke Kuechly, if we're naming all-time great linebackers, you don't get too far without mentioning how good Luke Kuechly was, right?
Right.
And I swear Josh Norman was on that team, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got an all-time great at linebacker, and you have a cornerback who had arguably the greatest season ever at the cornerback position.
This is the thing. This. I'm gonna put this together because the OG he was talking to when he had his pod was Jason Wilson. He's a motivational speaker, a man of faith, great black man. he had a pod with Jason Wilson. He showed up on Cam's pod, and the one thing that really stuck out to me is I think that Cam is emotionally and mentally, he's conflicted, right? And let me tie this into Jalen. I think the reason why Cam keeps talking about Jalen the way he does, it's not just about football. It seems like it is in a sense, but it's really not. Let me break down what Jalen has. Jalen has a beautiful wife, beautiful black lady, got married. He has a beautiful child, right? And that's his family. Dad was a coach, mom loving, all the case may be. The difference here is with Jalen. Jalen, you never hear anything negative about Jalen on or off the field, right? He has an all-female agency running his business, right? You know what I'm saying? The other part about this is Jalen won a Super Bowl. Not only did he win a Super Bowl, he won a Super Bowl MVP, right? I think without a doubt, there's 100%. You can, if you just go back and just look at Cam and how he talks in regards to Jalen, he's jealous of him. There is a, and that's the one thing I picked up when I was watching the pod with him and Jason Wilson. There is a pocket of insecurity and the yearning for wanting to be better, and I get that as a black man. There's a lot. I truly believe that Cam wants to be better, but there's a part of him that has the jealousy there also in him, right? Yeah. And it shows, because the other thing about Jalen is as we know that Jalen doesn't let all of that inside shit, outside shit get into his.
No. And it's like this.
And most of the time, Cam is used to people responding to him, and his digs and his hate. He's not getting anything from Jalen. You know what Jalen is doing? He's going on the field, doing
and let his field that what he do on the field talk for him.
Field, right? Like he just helped the school the other day.
But we all grew up with Cam Newton's. Like, we all grew up with Cam Newton's. The dude who was the man in high school who coached it through because he was this guy and he was that guy. And you know what it is? Like Cam Newton, and I followed Cam Newton for a long time. So Cam Newton I thought was better than Tim Tebow when he was at University of Florida. Then Cam Newton left, and I'm not taking anything away, because if you ask me the 5 greatest college football seasons I ever seen from the quarterback position, Cam Newton, I've seen Tommy Frazier, I've seen Vince Young, I've seen Cam Newton, I've seen Joe Burrow, I've seen them all. And Cam Newton at Auburn, I can make an argument that Cam Newton led Auburn to a national championship is the greatest single season for an individual in college football. I know you can argue Reggie Bush's Heisman, you could argue Vince Young, you could argue Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow probably had the greatest season as a college quarterback number-wise, but Joe Burrow also had Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, and 2 running backs, 3 Brian Thomas Jr. He had 6 or 7 guys on that offense that went to NFL teams on the first or second or third round. Cam Newton took an Auburn team that had nobody on offense but him that was drafted. And he led that offense to a national championship. And I was looking at something where you know what's crazy? Randall Cobb's Kentucky team played Cam Newton's Auburn team that year. And I went back and watched it. And Randall Cobb went crazy. Randall Cobb might have had like 263 all-purpose yards that game. Something crazy. Like he ran the kickoff back 85 yards. He threw a touchdown pass. He had one receiving, two on the ground. Randall Cobb literally went crazy that game. That's probably the game that got him drafted, honestly. And Randall Cobb and them tied the game up with 8 minutes left. Cam Newton got the ball, and he led Auburn on an 8-minute drive, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. 4th and 1, you knew it was coming, but he was just that dog. Like nobody's tackling Cam Newton in college. Like Cam Newton is arguably a top 10 college player of all time at Auburn.
So why is he hating now?
I'm about to explain it to you. I'm about to get there. So, like, you have a guy who was super talented, the number 1 draft pick, went to Carolina. He's supposed to be the savior of the franchise, right? MVP, NFL rookie of the year, wins the MVP. Cam Newton, and let me see, Cam Newton's only had 3 winning seasons in his career, or 4 winning seasons in his career. No, 3. He's had 3 winning seasons in his career, and he's made the playoffs 4 times in his career, because one time they made the playoffs at 6-9-1. So you have a guy who is the prototype. When you see Cam Newton, when I seen Cam Newton in real life, the dude, Mark, you know me. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'3", 290 pounds. Cam Newton's bigger than me.
Yeah.
He's 6'6", about 275. Cam Newton's a Greek god. Like, if you look at Cam Newton is everything. When you look at quarterbacks, if you stood Cam Newton next to Jalen Hurts and you said you got to pick one of these guys to be your quarterback, Cam Newton's going to get picked 99% of the time before Jalen Hurts, right? So then you have this kid who was, and we had this conversation, and I put it in the group chat. We have a guy who people like to talk about something that happened 7 years ago. A guy who was benched for Tua. In the biggest game of his life, he got benched for Tua.
Yeah. So what?
And he's a second round pick. He comes in, and the Eagles fans, what we do, we boo McNabb. We boo everybody. We're Philly. We boo everybody. If you're not the guy we want, we boo you. We boo you. He was booed when he was picked. He came in. He put his head down. He went to work. He was supposed to be a backup. Wentz didn't pan out. They throw this guy in the fire. He shows a glimpse. He shows flashes. Sirianni comes in and says, "This is my guy."
But
nobody believes.
But for Cam, why is he hating on Jalen?
Because a guy who came from the dirt and wasn't supposed to be, because Jalen Hurts is everything Cam Newton was supposed to be.
There it is. That's the thing.
But when
go
you
ahead,
consider, I just want to get this in too. When you consider that before the Super Bowl, they had to sit down with each other. They had a sit down interview with each other. And around that time on ESPN, where obviously Cam is employed too,
yeah,
he was saying that if you talk about elite level quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts has to be in that discussion. The only thing that changed from that point until when he brought out his top 10 list was that Jalen Hurts played an amazing game in the Super Bowl, won Super Bowl MVP. So that's what I would, if I were to ask him anything, how many elite quarterbacks do you have in the NFL that Jalen Hurts isn't in the top 10? Because that's a weird thing to flip on with nothing that happened besides winning the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl MVP. I look at it like this too. The next day after that list came out, everything went trending. It became a Cam versus Jalen accolade of debate on social media.
right.
ESPN seized on that opportunity. And when do you ever hear ESPN say, maybe if it was Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, but when do you ever hear ESPN say, hey, this is Cam Newton's top 10 quarterbacks. We're going to debate about it for 20 minutes on our show. It kind of felt to me as if, we talked about this off air, as if this was something to get the news cycle going.
Okay,
something to get the news cycle going. And again, ESPN had just lost Shannon Sharp. And
That's
First
true.
Take just got Cam Newton.
They talk too much.
And I just think Like I said, I just think it was something to get the news going. But what I don't get with some of these former players, and I get that some of these guys that are currently playing might not want to hear it, but you know the opportunity they have to pick up the phone and call somebody privately.
And that's my problem. That's my main problem. Like all of these things that Cam says about Jalen, you got his agent number, who can then get in touch with you, right? You got an issue with Tua, call him.
Call him.
And then because you're still on air, you can then relay the not necessarily you ain't got to tell all your business because that's a one-on-one conversation.
Yep.
But give them the courtesy. I don't like that. Not necessarily, and it's really for the media as well. Overall, if you have access to these guys and you want to write something about them, what is a better way other than talking to them directly? Yes, you can talk to the coaches, you can talk to the teammates, but you can talk to them directly.
Call that man.
To disparage them, it makes no sense.
They were teammates, but Jalen Hurts was on New Heights, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cam not have a podcast so he can get these guys on his podcast and talk to them?
But you know, another part of it is like, and I think, you know, Ryan Clark, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Pivot and Ryan Clark as well. I think that's why sometimes he gets a lot of flack from people like Cam, because Ryan and the Pivot, they actually talk to players on their podcast, right?
You know, they just had one with Peanut Tillman. Shout out to Pivot. That Peanut Tillman podcast was dope.
Yes,
that Peanut Tillman podcast was dope.
Yep. And it's the thing is, so when Ryan is coming from a different perspective, is because he's really put in the work interviewing these guys. So his perspective is more in depth than maybe more in depth than in Cam. But if I am a Jalen Hurts and I keep hearing you talk about you running my name through the dirt
for clicks and views,
why am I going to? And then, because I mean, we men, we know when we feel like somebody hating on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I going to come on your podcast? Or maybe he did ask Jalen and his people, and Jalen said no because of what Cam has been saying.
Because you've been talking crazy.
Yeah,
the same thing happened with Shedeur Sanders too, right? And then he tried to show up at the Colorado
game
and talk to Travis Hunter.
He was like, "No,
Travis Hunter was like, "No,
you're not going to talk about me crazy to me, like, young man." No, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
and the reason is that's not how that works. You're not going to try to carry me. You're not going to try to carry me out in the public and then be like, "Yo, what's up, dog?" No, that's not.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm not going to be physical with you, but I'm gonna definitely let you know, like, I don't fuck with you like that.
No, get with the youngin say 6'7". Don't that mean get out my face now? 6'7".
Like,
fuck out of here, cuz.
Yeah, like you had, because when you was doing all that, while you was doing all that, you had the opportunity to pick up the phone and call me. That's all. You
had to do.
And that's the thing. That's the main thing about communication. People in this, and I'm not saying, you know, in this day, it's just the way it is. People don't communicate the same anymore. It's a lot of it's because of social media. Yeah, people just think they can say anything and just let it slide. Especially if I know how I can
if you say anything,
come see me. If you got a problem with me, I'll come see you. Like, yeah.
if you know me or you have access to me, and I've been like this. I've been like this for years. Like if you have access or you have a problem with me, you have access to me. Like, yeah, don't go, especially if I know you or we have the same common group. Don't go out here talking crazy. Like there's been a shout out to AO. AO and I had an issue, but we got people who both know us and like, yo, y'all gotta get that. Like, especially if it's over something dumb. It was years ago, but I get wild on occasion. Like I own my ignorance. I can be ignorant and I can get upset and take things personal sometimes when I shouldn't. But that's who I am. Like, and at the end of the day, I can always admit when I'm wrong. And I'm only admitting that I'm ignorant and wrong sometimes to say, Cam Newton, sometimes you gotta shut up and admit when you wrong because you ignorant and wrong sometimes.
And I think
I love that I love that he has a confidence. I love that he's been accomplished a lot of things, but sometimes, bro, like pick up the damn phone, bro.
Yeah. And you don't have to say everything in public. You don't have to say everything in public. Everything isn't for everybody.
That's the same shit like with him and Gilly. Like, call Gil.
Call it.
Call him. Like, if you know him, if he's been on your show and you've been on his show, call the man.
Call him.
And that's why I say I think
don't I'm sorry. Hold on, Artie.
Go ahead.
Don't let a base head like Johnny Manziel disrespect you.
Disrespect you. Yeah. Kaboom.
Bro.
Hey.
Yeah, that's crazy. Go ahead, Artie.
What was that? That was a funny video when he came out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "What are you talking about, Johnny?" But no. What I was saying too is that sometimes it's not worth it. I know Cam aspires to be maybe the next First Take host or have the next big show in sports media, but sometimes it's just not worth. I think Stephen A. has gone through this too, where you just ruin your reputation with the athletes to try to get clicks and try to get the views and stuff like that. And to me, there's a right way to do it. And I think if we're going to get to a new media with podcasts that are independent and athlete podcasts as well, we have to do it in a new way because sometimes it's for like I said, aspirational to get to a higher point in his career media wise.
Right.
But then you see a guy too, like I remember last year, I think it was last year, that Steve Smith was he was saying something about Jerry Jeudy. When it was reported the Panthers were interested in trading for Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy has seen him on a Thursday night football game, and he tried to, get up to Jerry Jeudy and talk to him. And Jerry Jeudy said, "Yo, I don't mess with you like that. I heard what you said. I don't
ride with you." Yeah.
Yeah. And he was right.
And Steve got on the show and he was like, "I'm gonna let Carolina know not to, I'm calling them now. Do not trade anybody want to trade for somebody like that. Do not waste your time. It was on air." And I'm just like,
disrespected the man, but that's the thing.
But
he had the opportunity to call the man.
Calling emotional ass dudes. That Dave Portnoy or whatever his name is, he's another emotional ass prick. Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Like you can't buy me. Like I'm gonna talk shit to you every chance I get because you're a little 5'2" little bitch. Don't ever come to Delaware and try pizza again, clown. Like, and you mad because you attack people. Bruce Pearl's a piece of shit. Bruce Pearl said what he said. He's coaching. He got 11 black kids on his team. Like Bruce Pearl said that shit. How can he say that shit and then walk into a locker room with 12 black kids? If my black son was playing basketball at Auburn and Bruce Pearl was the coach, my son wouldn't be playing basketball at Auburn no more. So fuck you, Dave Portnoy, you little fucking Smurf or whatever. You little fucking Smurf dickhead, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, size ass working man. Fuck you and all your money. You can't buy integrity. And fuck Bruce Pearl for trying to say, slide off with that Obama divided the country and Charlie Kirk was a hero type shit. No, you can't say that.
Yeah, we got it.
No, but like he attacked Michael Wilbon for saying Bruce Pearl divided the locker room and shouldn't be in the locker room. Like Bruce Pearl has been on some bullshit the last 6 months, and he didn't retire because he wanted to retire. He retired because he realized he'd been putting bullshit out in the world for the last 6 months. And you got to coach these. You got 12 black kids looking at you.
But we'll make a show on that.
I think to tie that up too, though, to Mar's point, is you can't be on social media. whether you're an athlete, whether you're a podcaster, whoever you are, and hate for no reason, especially if you have access to these people, and then when you see these people, act buddy buddy.
Buddy. Oh, he talk. You can't support your whole job. Like Bruce Pearl, go get you 15. No disrespect to any other race. Go get you 15 of those guys who you like, and go get 15 of the guys of your same belief, and coach your basketball team there, and let's see how many wins you get.
Yeah, we'll make a show on that one. We'll definitely make another another appearance on that one. But as far as everything else goes, man, like again, it was good rocking with y'all, man. We're gonna see these games on Sunday. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter page, because I feel like it pod IG, what's it called? Facebook as well. We barely be on, but Facebook is what it is. But hey, man, go Pack, go Eagles. You know what I mean? I don't know where Nelson is. Fuck the Bills.
Let's go Browns.
The Jags too. But yeah, man, we'll probably be back on probably Wednesday, same time, 8 o'clock, 8:30. We got a lot, like I said, we got a lot of content to push for y'all, man. Follow us, like us. We gonna be around. We out, man. We'll holler at y'all later.
Peace.
Man, that thing ain't even going off.
It ain't going off.